Paris is an incredible city with so much to do and see and is typically a top place on anyone's European bucket list. I just got back from my third trip to the city and I'm here to give you the ultimate 3-day Paris itinerary that will allow you to see as much as you possibly can in Paris's city center. From amazing tourist sites to beautiful parks and amazing museums, your 3 days in Paris will not disappoint with this itinerary. Coming back this time in June 2024, I can say they have really cleaned up the city for the Olympics and it was my favorite trip to Paris yet. So let's start by pulling up my Google map I created for Paris. Anyone who watches my channel knows I'm a very visual person and I love to create Google Maps when I travel. So if you're the same as me, check out this video on how to create your own Google Maps for your travels. I separated each day by color. We'll do day 1 as red, day 2 as blue, and day 3 as green. So with the red pins on day 1, you'll start at the Eiffel Tower. Now you absolutely need to book these tickets online in advance because the line for non-ticket holders is outrageous. We had tickets and still had to wait in line for nearly 30 minutes, so please save yourself waiting in line for hours and hours and buy them online in advance. If you want to take the stairs to the second level, it's 11 euros. The elevator to the second level is 23 euros, and the elevator to the very top is 29 euros. We did the stairs to the second level and I highly recommend it. It's not hard at all. It's about 10 minutes-ish going up the stairs to each level. But once you get to level 1, you can, take a break, you walk around the platform, make sure to stop inside the cafe for a pastry and a coffee with this amazing view, and then you can head up to the second floor with another 10 minutes of stairs to see slightly higher views before heading down. Once you get down, it's time to see some great Eiffel Tower viewing spots. You'll head to the right side of the park, University Street, where you can get the perfect picture of the Eiffel Tower between the buildings on either side of the street. It is a very popular photo spot though, so it will be hard to get a photo without people in it. So if that is important to you, I'd head there really early in the morning before you actually go up into the Eiffel Tower. Next, we'll cross the river to Trocadero Square, which normally gives great views of the Eiffel Tower, but because of the Olympics, it's not so great right now, which you'll see is kind of a theme here. They've cleaned the city up a ton, like I mentioned. This is by far the cleanest I've ever seen Paris, which is great, but there are fences, construction, and stadiums everywhere, which kind of kills the vibe in a lot of places. Like the gardens right in front of the Eiffel Tower, it looks like this right now. So if you dream of a picnic in front of the Eiffel Tower, now is not the time. But anyways, back to Trocadero, snap a few photos of the view, and if you're hungry, head right next door to Le New York for some reasonably priced French food with Eiffel Tower views. Now it's time to head up to the Arc de Triomphe, which is this massive structure in the middle of a huge roundabout, and it's absolutely stunning. And from here you can walk down the Champs-Élysées Street, which is the main shopping area in Paris, or I guess one of them because there really are so many. But take your time strolling down the street, popping into the shops, looking at the cool installations some shops have, like this huge Louis V luggage bag. Once you get to the end of the road, you'll see Little Palace, and right across from it, Grand Palace. So snap photos of both before crossing the river to see Hotel des Invalides, which is a museum you can head into, or to snap photos from the outside because of course it's stunning. Then to end the day, you'll head to the Recruitment Cafe, which is personally my favorite view of the Eiffel Tower in all of Paris. Snap some photos and continue down this street to find tons of dessert shops and restaurants to find dinner. Day 2, you'll start at Concorde Plaza, which is another place completely covered in Olympics construction. But from here, you'll slowly walk through the Tuileries Gardens, grab a coffee and a pastry from one of the carts within the park, chill on a bench, look at the Eiffel Tower and the Orsay Museum, which is right across the river, and just kind of enjoy a slow morning. Eventually, you will reach the Louvre at the end of the park. And again, you will absolutely want to buy a timed ticket in advance. Just like I said with the Eiffel Tower, the lines were absolutely insane if you didn't have a ticket. We did have a ticket and we still waited about 20 minutes, but you can buy them online for 22 euros. Once you get inside, you could spend all day here. It's massive with so much to see, so grab a map, take your time, walk through to see what's important to you. Some notable works are Liberty Leading the People, The Winged Victory of Samothrace, The Dying Slave, and of course the Mona Lisa, which is so crazy to try to get a photo of. So just do a walk by like me and avoid the lines, but also make sure to always look up because the ceilings around the Louvre are just as impressive as a lot of the works of art throughout the museum. Once you exit the Louvre, you'll be surprised to know that there's an entire underground little city filled with restaurants and shops. So again, you can spend even more time down here before you actually officially exit the museum area. Once you're ready, you'll head to the Palais Royal courtyard, where you might have seen this photo on Instagram of the black and white striped pillars from the ground. It's a beautiful area, and if you keep walking through, you'll be in the garden area, which is just as beautiful as well. And once you get to the end of the park, you'll find the Galerie Vivienne, which is just a cute little shopping alley, so take a stroll through and admire the beauty. Then you want to pop out of the gallery on Vivian Street and you'll be at your next destination, the France National Library. Now, for most of the library, you do have to pay to enter, but if you enter on this side, you can actually see the Oval Room for free, and it is so breathtaking. So you can sit here for a while or even head outside to the gardens to sit and rest your feet. And there are also free bathrooms here, which is really hard to find in Paris, and they're very clean. So I highly recommend using them. Next, you're making your way to Palais Garnier. So if you find a lunch spot between the library and here, make sure to stop and eat. Once you get there, the front is under construction, which is a bummer, but if you do walk around to the side, you can get a few nice photos. From here, you have a long walk up to Moulin Rouge, which is a cabaret show that costs upwards of about 100 euros per person. So we opted to just snap a photo and skip on that part, and then continue on to the Montmartre neighborhood, which is up some very steep hills and stairs, so do be prepared for that. This area was so cute, filled with so many cafes, restaurants, and a million pastry shops. I was in heaven eating so many macarons. I highly recommend just exploring the area, eating some snacks, and we even stumbled upon the Wall of Love, which I had seen on Instagram so many times but had no idea where it was, so I recommend checking that out too. Eventually, you'll make your way up to the Basilica of the Sacred Heart of Paris, which is this stunning church overlooking all of Paris down below, so there are great views of the city. End your day up in this area with dinner, drinks, and of course, more pastries. Day 3, we're moving on to the Green Pins, and it's by far the chillest day of the 3. I always like to see the most popular tourist things right when I get somewhere and eventually work my way to a chill day where it's not so much about seeing the tourist sites, but more so of just about seeing the areas and just kind of walking around and exploring. So that's what today is. Start your day off at the Catacombs, but you absolutely have to book tickets in advance as they only let in a certain amount of people per day. Unfortunately for us, I had planned to go on Monday and didn't realize it was closed on Monday, so we weren't able to go. So don't make the same mistake that I made. Tickets go on sale 7 days before your intended visit, and they go really quick. Once I realized that it was closed on a Monday, it was the next day, so it was a Tuesday, I tried to get a Saturday or Sunday ticket and they were already completely sold out. So you do have to be quick. From here, you'll walk up to the Luxembourg Gardens, which are absolutely beautiful. I grabbed a crepe here at the entrance and walked around inside while I ate, and it was 6 euros for a Nutella crepe. Once you're ready to move on, you'll head to the Pantheon, which of course is a beautiful building, but what I thought was even more beautiful was the entire square that it was in. You're just surrounded by stunning buildings on all sides, like everywhere you look, and then in the distance, you see the Eiffel Tower. It's just incredible. From here, it's time to grab lunch in the Latin Quarter. This is one of my favorite areas of Paris. All these little winding alleyways that are connected to each other, filled with so many shops, restaurants, and cafes. It's a great place to get your Paris souvenirs, and there are a ton of restaurants with lunch specials. That's an appetizer, entree, and dessert for 12 euros. It's such a bargain, and tons of fondue places too for about 19 euros per person. So take your time eating and walking your way through this area. Once you're ready, it's time to head to the island on the Seine. First, you'll see the famous Notre Dame. It's so incredible to see how fast they've been restoring this since the 2019 fire. And then from here, you'll visit the Sainte-Chapelle Cathedral, and again, learn from our mistakes, book a ticket in advance because the line was insane. I went back in 2016, which I know was a really long time ago, but I remember not buying a ticket in advance and just kind of stumbling upon this place and going in. So I thought it'd be the same, but times have changed. It's worth going in as it's filled with stained glass, making it so beautiful on the inside. So I hope you get to check that out. From here, you'll walk across the bridge and along the Seine to the Hotel de Ville, which is the city hall. And again, it's covered in Olympic stuff, but not entirely in a negative way, although I do think it's much nicer to look at without all the signs on it. Now you have a little free time before you end your day in Saint-Germain neighborhood. You can hop on a Seine River cruise to see all the sights again from the water, find some pastries, or head straight over to the Saint-Germain area, which is considered one of the nicest and most expensive places to live in Paris. When you're here, you can walk around the shops before finding dinner to end your trip. So that's 3 jam-packed days in Paris, and a lot of people tend to compare Paris to London, which is actually what I'm doing next week in my video, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. For now, let's take a look at my London 3-day itinerary so you can compare.